Hello. Today we will be talking about laws versus ethics. The law refers to a systematic body of rules that governs the whole society and the actions of its individual members. Law is created with an intent to maintain social order and peace in the society and provide protection for all citizens. Ethics refer to a branch of moral philosophy that guides people about basic human conduct. Ethics are made to help people decide what is right or wrong and how to act. Some laws also include insight into ethical standards, such as not abusing an elderly person or child. There are various state and federal laws that caregivers must follow. HIPAA, or the Health Insurance Portability Act, is one of those laws. It is a federal law and the standard to protect sensitive patient health information from being disclosed without a patient's consent or knowledge. It is a requirement that you keep clients' health information private. It is the law. If you suspect that your client is being abused, neglected, or exploited, you must report your allegation to the Texas Department of Protective and Regulatory Services online or by calling 1-800-252-5400. Reporting is our responsibility. Never work outside of your assigned hours or perform tasks outside of your assigned duties. It is important to set this boundary with the client from the beginning. Complete all tasks to the fullest for the client. It is considered negligence if you do not. Some examples of ethical treatment are treating your client with kindness and respect, arriving on time at your client's home and informing when you are not going to make it in or will be late, following the care plan each day for your client, maintaining a clean and organized home for your client, addressing your client by their last name, honoring your client's privacy and confidentiality, keeping personal issues private like religion and politics, and respect your client's beliefs. Not engaging in financial transactions or having intimate relationships with your client. Using mobile devices outside of rest or break periods. Here we will talk about client rights and caregiver rights. Some additional clients' rights include the right to refuse treatment, the right to privacy, the right to file a complaint with the agency, and the right to request copies of any record including time, receipts, and notes regarding care. Clients always have the right to choose even if it does not align with what you feel is best. Self-determination is the client's right to choose if, when, and how events take place regarding their person and care. Caregivers also have the right to be informed of any complaints filed against them and receive timely payment for services performed within the scope and plan. One of the main reasons there is friction between the caregiver and client is when the caregiver is doing things as they believe that they should be done instead of asking and gaining insight from the client on how they would like tasks completed. You may always explain to your client if you have concerns about the course of action, discuss alternatives with your client, and contact the agency for further instructions. In this next section, we will go over 3 scenarios to better understand laws and ethics. Scenario number 1. You arrive at your client's home where you accepted an assignment 5 days per week. Your client lives with her daughter who pays for all the bills and buys anything needed for your client and the home. When preparing lunch, you notice there are limited options for your client to eat. Your client informs you she is still hungry after finishing her lunch. What is the appropriate course of action? In this scenario, B and C would be the correct responses in this scenario. It is important to always alert the agency with any concerns that you have regarding your client. Communicating with the family in the home that are helping with the needs of the client is a good idea, as they may not have the insight that caregivers have while with the client. We do not want to cross any boundaries by buying items for the client with our own money, and the same applies with the client buying an attendant anything or giving gifts. We also do not want to neglect the client's needs by not reporting to anyone the client's concerns. Scenario number 2. You arrive at your client's home who has advanced dementia. Your client lives with his son, who usually leaves for work after you arrive for your shift. Today you arrive and the door to the home is open. You notice your client wandering up the street alone with a pair of shorts and no shoes on his feet. After bringing him safely back to his home, what should you do? A, B, and C are good answers in this scenario. Caregivers are required by law to report any neglect, abuse, or exploitation that involve the client as soon as they can. Always inform your agency and supervisors as soon as possible, as well as informing the client's family of the condition that you found the client in. Caregivers have a duty to report abuse, neglect, and exploitation. In our final scenario, your client's nurse has left a new medication box set up for the week. The nurse has left clear written instructions on when the medication should be taken, how much, and with or without food. 3 days into the new medication, your client informs you he does not want to continue taking certain prescribed pills because they make him feel worse. What should you do? A and D are good choices here. As the client is more than likely not a medical professional, it is important that they speak with their doctor or nurse before starting and stopping any medication or medication plan. Reporting to the agency the client's refusal to take medication gives us the chance to make documentation on the issue in case that it may come up in the future. Always report any suspicious activity or refusals to your supervisor. As caregivers are not medical professionals, we are not allowed to tamper or alter our client's medication or medication plan, as it is against the law. Caregivers also should not conceal the client's medication unless requested by the client themselves. The client has the right to the refusal of care, and we do not want to infringe upon that client's rights.